Yeah, it's barrel time. That's what I got going on today. Lately at night, our temperatures get down to mid 70s, and we get close to 100 during the day. So it's happening, and it's only happening with these purple drums. In the morning, these drums are collapsed. They're sucked in because the air temperature difference. Because the air inside the drum is cooler than the air outside, so the drums collapse. And when the drums warm up, they pop back out. Well, to resolve this, there was two tricks that I could do. One was to put about 20 ounces of water in each drum and drop a golf ball sized piece of dry ice in there. You know, while the drum's standing up, put the cap on, shake it around, and let it do its thing. It's going to build pressure. I don't know how much pressure it's going to build, but it's going to build pressure. A more controlled approach is what I'm doing. Being my dock design has this gap in between, I have enough room to take the caps on and off, and I can put a valve stem and put an air pump to do the initial pressure up. And I've already tested a barrel at 20 psi. 20 psi is nothing for these barrels. These purple barrels are really thick. They're twice as thick as the blue ones I used on my houseboat up there. So what I'm doing, I'm drilling a 1/2 inch hole in the cap. This is the part number for the valve stems I'm using. It does require a 0.453, which is 11.4 millimeter hole. I'm using a 1/2 inch, being this is low pressure. It's working out fine. I left the first one I tested, I left pressured for, I want to say, over an hour. So I'm going to show you the process. It's really nothing fascinating or exciting, but it's real easy to do with simple tools. What I do, I take my cap, I drill slowly a 1/2 inch hole, because this plastic is very soft. It's almost like Teflon, but this is high density polyethylene. So if you push hard, your drill bit forces a lip on the plastic that bulges up and bulges out, and so give you sealing problems. So go slow and take your time, and it'll drill a nice hole for you. Get it as thin as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm barely applying any pressure. Alright, she's starting to cut. And she's through. You pull off the remaining shavings if you have to. You can take a razor blade, but all I got is a dull knife. I call this my spoon. It's about as sharp as a spoon, because this is my hammer, my scraper, my knife. This knife does a lot for me. It's old, wore out. Tighten the bolts, the next day they're back loose. Anyway, video's not about my knife. Let me find my tools. A typical standard valve stem tool. Nothing fancy about it. And the part number for the valve stem is 90-413 if you buy from Napa. If you buy anywhere else, it's a 413 series. I forget what the 413 stands for, but mostly it's for the, I think it's for the hole size for the rim. 413. Unscrew the cap. Pass it through the back side of your drum cap, barrel cap. Keep calling it drums. Now once you got the tool installed, you put tension on it and wobble it in the outward motion, you'll hear it pop. There it goes, it popped. When it's sealed in there. It's snug in there, very snug. I can almost turn it by hand. An 11.4 millimeter drill bit probably would have been better. Would have been harder to install, because most car rims are not as thick as this cap. This cap's almost 3/16 thick. But the lip on the valve stem will suit a 3/16 rim. That's why I didn't go shorter to make a shorter series. It's made for mower rims, but usually a mower rim is thinner than this, and this lip is further down, which will make it harder to get in the cap. So when you buy your valve stems, make sure you're thick enough to get into your cap. My cap is actually slightly thicker than this little gap right here, but it's designed that way to put pressure on the rubber to make a seal. It's real simple to do. Nothing hard about it. The hardest part is, remember where you put this little cap? And, I had a problem finding this down here locally. Napa only had 2 packs. It was $3.84 per pack. I bought their 2 packs. And across from Napa, there was a little service station. Napa suggested they're gonna have what you need. So I went over there, got to talking with him. He had them. We didn't discuss price. I said, well, hey, look, I'm four short to do this job. I need 4 of them. He went grab them. He came back. What I owe you is $16 for 4 of them. Napa sold me a 4-pack for $3.84. But when you need it, and it saved me a trip from town. I'm about a 15 to 20 minute drive from town. So I've done what I had to do to get this job done. But I would suggest if you go to Walmart online, you can get a pack of 14 for $9. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stock up on these while I found them cheap. Again, I'm barely applying any pressure. It's slow into this tip, getting this tip, because spade bits are not very pointed. They are when they're new, but they're made for wood. Wood goes down easy. Plastic is not. Once the tip breaks through and the actual cutting edge hits, then it cuts fast. That's why you need to go slow. Basically, the point is melting the plastic. Once the spades hit, that's it. Spades are in contact. Just let the weight of the drill do the work for a clean hole. Of course, a regular drill bit would probably be better. A regular drill bit probably would be better. You can try. You want to buy 11.4 millimeter. That's what's recommended, the size hole for these valve stems that I'm using. Okay, you can go to a different series valve stem. I think they make a 415, it takes a bigger hole. The 413 takes 11.4 millimeter, but I'm using 1/2 inch, as you see. And it's working out pretty good. But if you go fast, it leaves a lip in here. And I don't know if it's a cause sealing issues. I don't think it will. But I wouldn't get overly excessive with forcing this bit. You never want to force a bit through plastic because it always deforms. You see my hole's not center. I'm not taking points for center. The only downside of this method, a standard drum wrench no longer fits with the valve stem in it. So I'm gonna have to make my own drum wrench that goes around it. I haven't made it yet, but I will. For now, I'm just installing these by hand, putting them on, because I'm not putting air in the barrels until I actually strap the barrels down. Because if I put air in it now, that means when it gets cold weather, the straps will probably be loose because the drums are going to lose air pressure. No matter if I was going with dry ice, which produces CO2, or air, both of them are affected by temperature. CO2 is actually affected more by temperature. So I don't know if maybe if you were a kid, you had a little CO2 BB gun you used to like to shoot. During the winter, that gun was always weaker. You probably didn't know why, but a standard CO2 cartridge is anywhere from 800 to 1200 psi, and they get that rating because on a cold day at 40 Fahrenheit, that same CO2 cartridge will have about 800 psi average. And during the summer, on a 9-degree day, you're going to have 12 to 1300 psi in that same cartridge. And air does the same thing. Like your tires during the winter, your tire light will always come on during the winter. That's why air expands and contracts with temperature change, which is the reason I'm doing this right here. Now the air is still going to expand and contract, and ideally I would like to inflate this during the winter. That way during the summer it's really going to be full during the summer. But during the winter is when you lose air pressure. It's really not going to affect this a whole lot, but I didn't want to deliver it to my customer and some of the drums look flat. You know, it doesn't look professional. And you know, I would like to think I build a professional product, a quality product. So I want to try to represent that the best I can. I don't want to take a shortcut if it's not needed. So that's the purpose of this video and how to do it. I know it's not very exciting watching a guy drill caps and putting valve stems. But for the guys with the questions, this is fairly easy to do. I think I'll end this video. I've already uploaded one video today. I'm not one of those guys where I like to upload as many videos as possible. There's a lot of things I make a video and I don't even put it on that. I don't even put it on YouTube. You know, if I don't think it's that relevant, I won't even put it. But I'll just make the video, spur of the moment. Yeah, as you can see, it gets the job done. You can deduct points for me being off center. It's in there, secured, it's not going anywhere. And it's a standard car tire valve stem. So I guess for all those guys that are tech junkies, if you really want to, you could put some tire pressure monitoring systems on it and have a nice display. That would be a funny video. I don't think anyone's gonna do that. But yeah, thank y'all for viewing. Any questions or comments or suggestions, hit me up. Thank y'all.